Tim, Alex, and Joey too. Got a show for me and you, games and films and tunes they'll skew. Some laugh, some groans, it's nothing new. Things I hated, let's dive in. Games and movies, where do I begin? Tunes we love, but still we spin. Laughs and cringe, it's where we win. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, welcome back to Thanks I Hate It, the show where we take genres of media that our lovely co-hosts would ordinarily hate and maybe try to find something that they might enjoy. I'm joined, as always, by Tim.
Hello.
Hello. And Joey.
Hey up, Chuckles.
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 It's because he's done a funny laugh at the start.
That's because he don't. Anyway, right.
That's on the internet forever now. Thank you.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
That's the noise Tim makes when he comes.
It's a lot more high pitched though.
Oh no. No, we know the noise you make when you come, Tim. Oh, it's not on the board. Oh, that's sad.
Oh, are you looking for this?
Tickets, please.
No, I was...
Tim makes all of this noise.
All very
Choo,
organic.
choo.
No.
Quite impressive, actually.
And I hope this comes through from the Discord soundboard. I was looking for. It's gone. I was looking for the I will accept audience cummies.
Oh, I removed that.
Oh, well, now Alex has got that soundbite on the internet forever.
We're here to talk about Things I Hate It. Joey, how do you feel about cartoons?
I like The Simpsons.
Specifically anime?
An animated TV show. You mean a cartoon?
Yeah. How do you feel about them?
So, okay. Very funny. I call them cartoons. It winds people who like anime up. I think they generally are very offended by my dismissal of what is, and I recognise as a form of art. It's not normally my thing. I feel like people get way too into it and make it their whole identity, and I find that really difficult to deal with. And I guess what I like less about anime than anime is the people who identify with anime as one of their personality types. It's a joke that I hate all anime. It's not true. I would say Attack on Titan is some of the best TV I've ever watched. Looking forward to Chainsaw Man Season 2 coming out.
The movie's got a
gonna be
release date.
Yeah. Watching a bit of Death Note, because I've been told that's a classic.
So
It's,
what
you know.
what I'm hearing, Joey, is you like hyper-violent anime.
Yeah, I do.
So hyper-violent anime with a little bit of story sprinkled on there.
That's
So-
optional.
Knowing that about our good little friend here, Joey, I decided we needed to watch a classic of anime that Joey had never seen. We watched 1988's Akira.
Shakira. I watched the Shakira concert from the 80s. Is that okay?
Probably not. Him shaking his head.
Joey's still ill at the minute.
Oh, you say I'm ill. I say I'm fucking hilarious.
What?
Yeah, sorry, I'm done now.
So you'd never seen Akira before now.
No.
I saw it. Oh, it must have been about 15 years ago since I last saw it. Tim, how about you?
First time I saw it, I think I was probably about 15 or 16. I definitely watched it at some point in my 20s, and now I've watched it today.
In your 30s.
Yeah, I'm a 30. So once
So
a decade.
I was aware of Akira because there was a Twitch streamer that I used to really like and get on with who basically made their whole Twitch profile based around Akira. That was how I was aware of it, but I was never compelled to actually watch the anime.
So yeah, and I think that is something we'll get onto in a little bit. Is Akira is one of those animes that has been unbelievably influential. As I said, it came out in 1988, so that's what 37 years ago now. People still reference it. People still know it. People still live by it. But Akira is a Japanese animated cyberpunk film directed by Katsuhiro Otomo,
That was a hate
based
crime,
on his.
Alex.
I don't. I don't know why. I don't know why I chose something Japanese because I famously can't say Japanese names. But it is based on a manga of the same name that he also wrote. It is often cited as one of the most influential anime films ever made, both for the groundbreaking animation and the storytelling, which we will briefly get onto in a little bit. Well, a little bit is now. The story takes place in Neo Tokyo, a sprawling neon-lit dystopian city rebuilt after a mysterious explosion destroyed the original Tokyo in 1988 in the movie's world. It is now the year 2019, and the city is rife with political corruption, gang violence, social unrest, and secret government experiments. The story follows Canada, or Canada, I don't know how you meant to actually say that. Yeah. A brash leader of a biker gang and his childhood friend Tetsuo, who gains dangerous psychic powers after a collision with a mysterious Esper, which is a child with psychic abilities. I think when you were watching this, I think it was you, Joe, where you messaged going, "What's up with these blue kids?"
Can I just say we are about 10 seconds into the story, and all of this lost me.
Tetsuo discovers these new psychic powers, and they start spiraling out of control, threatening the entire city. Meanwhile, the government is desperately trying to contain him, fearful that he might awaken something called Akira, which is a godlike entity connected to the original explosion that destroyed Tokyo. That is a very fast and dirty sort of explanation of the story. That is the major point of it all. Is, well, Tetsuo is a child who is, we see through his backstory that he's often bullied and treated like a weaker person than everyone else, and he then suddenly gains all these powers, and it's that typical sort of power corrupts sort of story where he tries to and almost very successfully destroys the entirety of Tokyo, and presumably would then go on to destroy the world. Before we go into anything else, let's get some initial thoughts with Joey, apart from your confusion at the blue children.
Well, he didn't hate it.
Well, he didn't hate it, Alex.
He didn't hate it.
That should be changed to he didn't hate all of it. Because the story was nonsense. Some of the character designs were dreadful, but the world building and the animation around, particularly the action scenes on bikes, were fantastic, and they were enough to keep me engaged and enjoying it throughout the whole thing. I thought Tetsuo's descent into madness, while it's an overused trope, isn't it? Like, runty kid suddenly becomes the alpha and doesn't know what to do with it, and then goes mad with power.
Yes.
He was just a prick throughout the whole thing. Like, they spent the whole time stealing the guy who ultimately all he wants to do is save his life, steal his bike because he can handle it now that he's got power, and that was it. And I don't know. I feel like if you cut out all of the Martians things, the blue people, the Smurfs that were in it, and you didn't have to explain the bomb that went off and was impending to go off. I actually think if you had a story about the factions within Neo Tokyo and the government control and the uprising that was going on around all of that, it would have been more engaging personally for me. I realise that this isn't written for me, but that's the story I wanted more of rather than the children that looked about 85 years old.
So-
there was a line, Tim, that when I shared the version I watched, the full version is on YouTube available for free. It is the English dub. I know that anime purists are hateful of English dubs, but there was a line and I cut to it and I was like, Tim, am I watching the right thing here? Because it was just a blue person. He goes, "Oh, if you do that, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble." And I just thought it sounded like Looney Tunes. So if I got over that, got over the annoying characters, the world building and the visuals of this really kept me in.
So should probably clarify that these blue people that are children that look 85 are not aliens or Martians. They are government experiments.
Missed that.
I don't think. Well, it was sort of briefly mentioned that the government is kidnapping and doing experiments on people. That's what happens with Tetsuo. That's how he gains these psychic powers, because he gets taken by the government, who start
I really
messing with him.
thought it was because he hit the kid with a bike.
I think that was the trigger that unlocked the powers.
Okay.
But then the government got hold of,
Got you.
this kid has now got powers. We need to contain him.
But I missed
Tim.
all of that and still enjoyed it. So
Good.
there
And I'm
you go.
glad you enjoyed it, to be honest. Tim?
Well, he didn't hate it.
I'm shocked.
Shocker, I
Shocked
know.
and
Yeah,
appalled.
it's a classic. It's a classic anime. Its art direction is stunning. It's if anyone knows me, they know I have a massive appreciation for hand drawn animation, and this is very much frame by frame hand drawn. And it's not because of how tedious it would probably have been to do so. I think it's just because the amount of work and detail that goes into every single frame of animation here is outstanding. Yeah, the story at times feels like it takes a bit of a backseat, but I think it's good. Ultimately, the government is trying to recreate the ultimate energy, be that for power or for weaponry or whatever the case may be. Hence the experiments, because the closest they've ever got was to doing these tests on a kid called Akira, who then basically disintegrated into jars of olive oil by the look of things.
Yeah.
So, but that's the reason they're doing these experiments on these people, and I think it's a fine enough story. Like you say, it's a bit of a trope for the runt of a group to become the alpha and then go a bit mad with power, but I think it's a tropey story because it's one that works. I know I brought this up in our Bloodborne review many years ago, but I have a weird fascination with cloth physics in games and animation. If so, and I'm sure, Alex, remind me, you've dabbled with animation before, right?
I studied animation, yeah.
So dabbled would be the right
Dabbled
word.
is an insult.
Dabbled would be the word.
Cloth physics, famously hard to do in 2D and 3D.
Yes.
And this is cloth physics out the wazoo. From everything from hoodies to coats and capes and just all sorts of stuff. And I found myself looking at that being like, holy shit, that's you can tell that's like drawn by some poor animator who is grinding this scene out essentially, and it looks amazing.
And I think that's something to say when we're saying that it's a hand drawn animation. The entire thing, because it was the late 80s, the entire thing is
1988.
hand drawn. Now, obviously, when you think of hand drawn animation, sometimes you might think of sort of the older Disney, Steamboat Willie, things like that, where it's just a scrolling background with a animated character. This is the far other end of the spectrum to that. Every single bit of this is animated. Everything has a reason, and it looks like it was all motion captured and filmed and then drawn over, but it wasn't. It was all hand drawn by probably some of the most talented artists in the world from the looks of it, because it is a stunning film to look at.
Yeah, there are scenes, particularly, and I'm skipping right to the end, where Tetsuo is morphing into like the horrible blob thing, where their faces are just where Mr. Blobby from Noel Edmonds' House Party comes out, and their faces are like being squashed and distorted into these weird shapes and being absolutely pulled apart at the muscle. And I actually stopped the film at that point and Googled, is Akira hand drawn? Because I genuinely could not believe how well that was done.
Mm-hmm.
It was
But even,
so
like,
impressive.
There's a similar scene when Tetsuo's in the hospital and he's having one of his first, what he thinks is a hallucinating nightmare, but is in fact the Esper kids fucking with him, where the little toys come up on the bed and then
Yeah.
they turn into, it all just turns into like this whirling dervish of different toys and bits of clutter and bric-a-brac, and it morphs into this teddy thing, and everything moves independently. It's not just a frame that's sort of rotated bit by bit. Everything has its own movement path, and the amount of time that scene must have taken to animate is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually think that scene is a standout as one of the best, because it was another one when I was flicking through. You have the little preview on YouTube when
Yeah,
you're going through the timeline. And I thought, why the hell is there a teddy bear covered in milk? And then I was like, I'm not going to spoil it. So I watched it, and I was so invested that I'd forgotten that I'd asked myself that question until I went back and thought about it after the film. It was so good. It's so strange, but just fit in there absolutely perfectly.
Well, to give you an idea of how influential this movie is, just Google Akira slide references.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tim, all I've seen ever since I've watched this is fucking Akira slides. I texted you guys yesterday. I was watching Paw Patrol with my son, and across 3 episodes, they did 2 Akira slides.
Yeah.
Any media that is either cyberpunk related or has motorcycles in it will do an Akira slide.
Can you just explain what
everywhere.
the Akira slide is?
The Akira slide is it's basically a drift on a motorbike, but you're going straight ahead and then you practically turn 90 degrees. Your bike is leaning forward into the turn and you just slide
Foot down.
foot down, and yeah,
It's like one of the most iconic shots of the movie.
Yeah.
if you're moving in, to use 3D terms, you're moving along the X plane, your bike is following the Y plane, so you are sliding backwards.
Yeah.
But just watch any bit of media with a motorbike in it. We were watching the 2014, I think it was, Devil May Cry animated series. They do it in that. Yu-Gi-Oh, the one with the motorbikes, they do it in that. Paw Patrol, like you say, have done it.
Yeah. Just loads of stuff.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners obviously did it.
Obviously.
And even the bike itself, not Akira's bike, Kanada's bike, that red sort of, it almost looks like sort of lobster shell almost.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you can't see the frame of it. It's all covered with these sort of shell looking things. And if you were to Google Akira bike, you'd instantly go, I've seen that in this bit of media. I've seen this referenced here, there, and everywhere. I did have a couple of little things on the animation. So the first thing is, this is a very vividly coloured film, to the point that they had to make new paint because the existing paint palette that they had would not cover what they wanted to do. So I know they didn't make new colours because that's a stupid thing to say, but they had to mix new colours of paint for this film.
Wow.
And this is one of probably very few animated films where they actually did the voice acting first, which is why all of the facial animation, the lip sync, it all looks, even though it's hand drawn and it's very simplistic in its design, the eyes are basically 2 circles, 2 wobbly circles, but that was all done after the voice acting, so that's why it all looks so good, and so it looks like modern day facial animation. But again, it was done in the late 80s.
Obviously, the English dub wasn't done at the same time as the Japanese dub.
There's actually two English dubs. We watched the 2001 version.
Wait, that's the
I didn't know
modern
that.
one.
Yeah, that's the more modern one.
The more modern one, the dub is horrific.
I don't know about
Like,
horrific.
It was bad. It was really bad. Like I said, the bits where they sounded a bit like they're in Looney Tunes, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble. That voice has stuck with me ever since. There were points where it was okay, I guess, but I obviously can't comment on the Japanese dub, but it's one that I actually think I would rather go back and watch again with the Japanese dub to see if it heightened my enjoyment of it even more. Because the English dub did take some of that away. I really liked, for example, the general, the big bad guy.
Yeah.
He I feel like they could have done him so over the top and campy, and all they did was like generic American voice of, "Hey, let's go and stop those guys on bikes." I feel like they could have dialed it up to 11, but they didn't. So, yeah, that's what I felt like I missed out on. Fair comment, Tim? Not fair comment?
Comment.
I'd say so. The production of this film also had what at the time, and especially for an animated film out of Japan, it had a massive budget. It had a $10 million budget, which by today's standards sounds like nothing. In today's money, that would be 27 million, give or take. But to put it into comparison about how big of a budget this was at the time, also in 1988, there was another Japanese-made anime film, Demon City Shinjuku, was released. That had a budget of $900,000 compared to the $10 million that Akira got. They put a lot of faith into this, and it's obviously paid off.
Well, it was.
But you've got to imagine.
Just looking it up, Alex, it was the 6th highest grossing Japanese film of the year. This actually says budget of $5.5 million, which is a little bit different. But it says that worldwide gross in 1988, Akira brought in $49 million, which
is a
lot of money.
big return. Did anyone have any favorite scenes? Because a lot happens in this film.
Favorite scene?
Anything really sticks with you? I've already talked about mine.
There was loads of bits that stuck with me. What I really like in anime, you kind of said it before, I quite like it hyper-violent, because I feel like there's a detachment from reality with anime that makes that hyper-violence a little bit more acceptable. I don't think this was hyper-violent. I thought there was violence in it, but what I really like is stylized anime. And I really, really, really liked, the scene where they first met the first Smurf child?
Yes.
And you are following the guy who's trying to break him out, holding his hand, and he's pulling him through this crowd of protesters. And it's really busy. It's really orange and red and like fire and angry emotional colours. And then it cuts to him, and they're following him with a searchlight, and you almost lose absolutely everything in the background while they gun this one man down, and then they go, "Stop, there's a child." And if you notice, when they say, "Stop, there's a child," it brings back the background.
Yeah.
And you get that emotion again of the anger and what's going on around you, and it's not so focused on the one man who gets killed. Sorry?
It's just good direction.
It's really good direction. But it's just stylized out the fucking arse, which I thought was brilliant.
Big fan.
Yeah, really big fan. That was my favourite bit.
Tim, you got any?
I mean, like I say, it's my third or fourth watch of this, and I think it's a bit that's really early on. But it's when Tetsuo is chasing down one of the clown gang on a bike, and as he's driving past them, he smacks them in the face with a hammer. And just something about that is just like, oh, it's going to be this kind of movie. Like something about that really brings you into the moment of what this film is going for in terms of its approach to violence. Like, yeah, you'll see people get shot, but it doesn't have the same kind of weight as like a one-on-one fight. Is the thing. Joe's just put in our chat. It's not hyper violence though. It's don't get me wrong. It's a violent movie, but it's not one that revels in the gore. Which I don't.
I was being sarcastic too.
I
No, I
think
know. But it's not because it doesn't revel in the gore. It makes those moments where there's actual one-on-one fighting. It feels a lot more purposeful, and when you do see the effects of like someone dying or being injured, it makes it impact a lot more.
it's not violent for the sake of being violent. It's not gore porn, basically.
Pretty much.
The violence is there for a reason, and it is thought out.
Yeah, I think that there was another. Oh, excuse me. I'll say that again so you can cut it, Alex. I think that there was another thing that I really liked that was very visual storytelling, that showed how much some of the characters cared about each other. And that was, when Tetsuo broke out of the government building and all his friends are in school, and he goes and he finds the girl, and I can't remember the girl's name. And they steal Kanada's bike and they're going to escape, and then the clown gang chases them down and catch up with him, and they hold Tetsuo back because he's still like the smaller kid, and they tear the girl's top off, and it like reveals her, and Tetsuo goes mad, and he starts like other guys come in and they beat the shit out of the other guys, and then everything cuts to black. And rather than just leaving the girl there while they're beating up these people, it cuts back from her vision, and they've put clothes back on her. They want to cover her up and protect her dignity before they want to take out the guys that did it to her. And I think that kind of subtlety and that friendship is often missed when you're focusing on the violence. And I think what that showed was Tetsuo's first thought was with his friend rather than the killing and being the alpha. So there is still a shred of that who he was before within him at this stage in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Good movie.
I'll stop now, Alex.
It's all right. So I think it's probably safe to say that we would all recommend the film.
Yes. Try and get hold of the Japanese copy, even though I haven't watched it.
I think it's often said that if you are a fan of animation, if you're a fan of sci-fi or dystopian storytelling, that it's an absolute must-watch. And I think even 37 years on, that still holds true.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Sounds
Apparently, but one last thought. Apparently, they've been trying to do a live action for years. There's a good ending to this story. They've been trying for, I think I read it was close to a decade. They've been trying to do a live action version of it. It's had different directors put against it, and it's had all this, and it's stuck in development hell and doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. This does not need a live action. If they do a live action, they will never do it justice.
No way.
It does have a Wikipedia page, though.
That's good.
What, the live action?
It starts with AKIRA is a proposed, wait for it, next word, proposed American cyber action film.
Right.
American cyberpunk action film based on the Japanese manga. Attached to it, Jennifer Dawson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Andrew Lazar, Warner Brothers.
Of course, it's Warner Brothers. But apparently it's been stuck in production hell for a while now.
2008, this says.
It's probably not going to happen then.
Apparently in the 1990s, Sony Pictures got the rights to it with the intent of making a live-action adaptation. So it's been stuck in development hell for at least 30 years. I don't think it's ever going to get off the ground. And it shouldn't.
Hopefully. The person who is tied to it, the guy who wrote the screenplay said At the moment, he's focused on another production, but AKIRA is still in his backlog of projects. And a new writer was added this year. So, enjoy.
Fingers crossed it doesn't happen, because
We'll be talking about it on Thanks I Hate It.
we will be talking about it on Thanks I Hate It. I think this film has got so much prestige behind it, and it's got such a history of this is how you do it, that there is no chance that a live action, even if they try to do an anime remake of it, like a remastering or something, it's never going to hold a candle to the original.
Don't you?
No, but we said this with Old Boy.
Don't you want to see Leonardo DiCaprio pretending to be a teenager doing an AKIRA slide?
Well, now I do. That sounds very funny.
And he says, "Gotta go fast," and Tetsuo is played by Christopher Walken.
I believe that is DiCaprio's iconic catchphrase, has got to go fast.
It's a me, DiCaprio, gotta go fast. No, Kaneda, get out of here.
Canada, you gotta drive.
Just in case anyone can't tell, we previously, before recording this, recorded the Assassin's Creed episode that came out 2 weeks ago.
Can we stop recording so late? It's just no.
It's great. It's great.
Joey, we record late because of you.
Yeah, that is true. Right. Well, let's get out of here.
That was let's get out of here. I think this was a very this was a successful Thanks I Hate It.
Yeah.
Next week you can join Sky and Jacka on BAP. Who knows what they're doing, because we have zero involvement in their podcast, and that's the way it's going to stay. So we're as in the dark and excited as all of you.
Looking forward to it.
And Joey, what's going to be the next Thanks I Hate It?
So in 4 weeks' time, 4 weeks, so you've got 4 weeks to watch 2 movies. My co-hosts love jump scare films, don't you?
I sure do.
No.
Boo! Did I get you? Are you ready for 2 films that are connected? Because they're part 1 and part 2, and they're full of boo.
Whoa.
And it's a remake. We're doing It part 1 and 2. So
the remake.
Not the one with Tim Curry. Is it Tim Curry that was the original?
Yeah. He was the original Pennywise.
Who? Alex, have you watched the original It?
No.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
It's weird.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize that Tim was also against jump scares.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're watching It 1 and 2. So if you want to join us in watching It 1 and 2, do so before 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's your homework. Get It 1 and 2 watched before the 9th of June.
There you
I'm
go.
sure you can do it.
I believe in you.
Chapter 2 was released on your birthday. So
Wow.
There you go. Enjoy.
Oh, it's filmed just for you. Happy birthday, Tim.
Wow.
Okay.
Right, let's get out of here. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Miss you.
Alex and Joey too. Got a show for me and you. Games and films and tunes, they'll skew. Some laugh, some groans, it's nothing new. Things I hate it, let's dive in. Games and movies, where do I begin? Tunes we love, but still we spin. Laughs and cringe, it's where we win. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
And welcome back to Cutscenes. No. Welcome back to Thanks I Hate It, the show where we that was a long recording we've just done.
The show where we hate it.
Yeah.